Hello friends, welcome once again to ASM for Online Maths. If this is your first time of viewing, kindly consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, follow my Facebook page, also follow me on Instagram via the name Chooks Chidebube. There you enjoy hundreds of mathematics videos which I upload every day. Right now, this inverse variation is a type of variation. Of course, I've discussed the direct aspect of the variation, but today I want to focus mostly on the inverse variation. Now, when do you say that two or more things vary inversely? Two things vary inversely if when an increase is made in one of the quantities, the other one will decrease. And when you try to decrease one of the quantities, the other one increases. So they go like a swing, right? An increase in one causes the other one to decrease. That is indirect or inverse variation for you. Another practical example of this inverse variation is that if you are driving a car, if your speed is too high, the time it will take you to reach to your destination will be too small. And when your speed is too low, the time it will take you to reach your destination will be too high. So you see that the time and the speed vary inversely to one another. That is a typical example of inverse variation. Another one is witness when you talk about work. When some rebels are performing work, when the workers are much, the time it will take them to perform the work will be too small. But when the workers are few, the time it will take them to perform the work will be too high, provided that the men or the workers you're talking about work at the same rate. Okay, so now let us take this particular question here, that x varies inversely as y. When x is 50, y is 10. Find y when x equal to 250. So they told us here that x varies inversely as y. That when this quantity x is 50, y is 10. They now want us to find what y will be when x now increases to 250. One thing I want you to understand here is that x is 50, y is 10. But now they increased x to 250. If x has been increased to 250, it means that this value of y should be reduced. That's the implication. So if you get an answer that is more than 10, it means you are wrong. You expect your answer to be lesser than 10. Since x has been increased, it implies that the corresponding value of y must be reduced, because in inverse variation, if you increase one, the other must decrease. Now look at how you represent two quantities that vary inversely. So we are told that x, you write your x, varies inversely as y. This is a representation of inverse variation. X varies inversely as y. You know, when we discuss direct variation, if x varies directly as y, we are going to write it like this: x varies directly as y. But inverse means reciprocal, so we've turned the letter y upside down. Okay, as usual, to remove the sign of proportionality, you must introduce a constant, and our constant is always k. So x is equal to k times 1 over y. So x will give us k times 1 is just a k all over y. If I want to get the value of my k, I can make this x to be over 1. Then I will say cross multiply. When I cross multiply k with times 1, it will give me k equals x times y is now xy. So it means that the value of k is now xy. You now ask yourself, what is your x? X is 50. What is your y? Y is 10. So k is equal to xy. So the same k will now be, seeing x, you plug in 50 for x, so 50 times, seeing y, they say that y is 10, you plug in 10 for y. Now when you multiply out, you see that k is equal to 50 times 10 will now give us 500. This is now our constant. Our constant is 500. Now if the constant is 500, the next thing to do is to find the relationship between x and y. And this is the relationship that exists between x and y. So you can now write that your x equals, look at k, already I have now known that k is no longer k, that k is now 500. So coming here, I'm seeing my k, I will just write 500 all over y. What is my y? I don't know yet. This is my y now. So this is a formula connecting x and y. X is equivalent to 500 all over y. Now to answer their question, the question says find y when x is 250. We now want to find the value of y when x is 250. So plug in 250 for x. Seeing x here, I will now plug in 250 equals 500 all over y. You can call this over 1. Cross multiply. When I cross multiply, look at what I mean by cross multiplication. 250 times y will give us 250y equals 1 times 500 will give us 500. Now let me clean this side so that I can complete this particular question. So we arrived at 250y is equivalent to 500. Now to get the value of y, I have to divide both sides by 250 because this 250 is affecting y and our y need to stay alone. So I will say over 250 over 250. 250 cancel 250. I am left with y equals, when you divide 500 by 250, it will just give you 2. And this is the answer. So you see that when you increase your x to 250, y now reduced to 2. So y was 10 before, now it has reduced to 2, to tell you that the quantities are varying inversely. If you've enjoyed what you've watched, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel at Esomnofu Online Maths. Follow my Facebook page and like, follow and also share to every student around you. Also follow me on Instagram at Chooks Chidiebube. This is my Instagram account. Kindly follow so that you enjoy over hundreds of mathematics videos which I'll be uploading every day. Thank you so much, dear friends.